why do you think it's so important that we manifest what we want in our life? Why do you think it's so important to like visualize it before you have it?
If you don't want shit bad enough, you're not gonna work hard enough for it.
So you have to like develop the desire to do it before you actually do it.
Yeah.
In a way.
You want that fucking
That fire
motivation, that like discipline to fucking get what you want. And then once you have that discipline to get what you want and that motivation, then you can get it.
Yeah.
And then you can work to get it. And like really, like what can't you achieve as yourself if you're determined and disciplined and motivated enough? There's nothing you can't achieve. So once you unlock 2 of those 3, it's easy from there.
No, I 100% agree. Like when you're working towards something, you start to make progress along the way, and the progress shows you that it's capable, and it makes you more of a believer in yourself and what you're working towards.
Yeah.
And I think discipline is also a huge part of it. Because if you want to actually have something happen in your life, it needs to be an everyday thing. So my man Ben has been reading The Power of Discipline. How far are you into this book?
Haven't read a page.
Haven't read a page.
Haven't read a page. I guess I need to start going.
Well, we have The Power of Discipline here by Daniel Walter. How to use self-control and mental toughness to achieve your goals. Definitely a good read. It's about building that discipline. So you do your shit every day, no matter how you feel, right, Ben?
You gotta get it done. Like at the end of the day, if you're not motivated, that's where the discipline needs to shine through to get things done.
Yeah, because motivation, in my opinion, is like a temporary state. And discipline is like, if you build discipline, that's going to keep you going, even when you don't feel motivated or good. Like, I know you go to the gym a lot. Do you want to go every single time you go to the gym?
No.
Yeah.
Not every time.
So what do you do on those days that you don't want to go to get yourself in there and get yourself working hard?
Gotta lock in, get that discipline and say, there's a reason I'm here right now. There's a reason I get myself here. Like I can't let my future self and my past self down.
Okay.
Gotta fucking work.
So looking at like that holistic view of your life. So I like that part. So you're not only looking at your future self, because that's usually what we do when we set goals. We're also looking at like the progress you've already made with your past self. And is it like you want to like compete with your past self, or you just want to continue with it?
Yeah. Oh no, that's a big one. Wanting to fucking move further along or like accept what your past self already did and say, I'm good here. Like you want to keep going.
Move on from the past events that you're holding on to.
For sure. No, that's definitely a big one.
Yeah. So for any period of time, did you have something on the past that you were like really holding on to and you were able to like, overcome it, or maybe you're still dealing with it today?
Definitely, bro. Many things, like between girls and like mental state, there's been many fucking things, but like at the end of the day, you just gotta be there, show up, and like put in the work to move past it.
Yeah. And sometimes that work is on yourself and it's alone and it's reflecting on the past and what has affected you and what's going on that you're still holding on to. Because we hold on to a lot of different things from our past. And it's really just, you gotta focus on removing everything you're holding on to as much as possible.
Definitely, yeah. Just fucking letting go and letting your future self and the self of you that's working towards your future self do their thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's super important. If people are feeling like unmotivated, you can't get yourself to stick to a diet, go to a gym, thinking of that future vision of what you're working towards is a motivator in itself. That's going to get you moving.
That's going to get you going.
And if it's not getting you moving, you don't want it bad enough, like we said earlier.
Yeah. No, desire, want, and discipline are definitely 3 of the bigger things. If you don't have motivation, if you don't have want, you're not going to put in the work. If you don't have discipline, you don't have motivation, you're not going to be there at the hard times.
Yeah.
So, like, they come together.
Mm-hmm. So, if someone is feeling unmotivated or they're difficult finding a lot of desire for something, what could they do to become more passionate about what they're working towards or what they're doing? Or like, what has worked for you in this?
Gotta realize your goals and be realistic with yourself on what you want and what you can achieve, and like set your mind to that. Don't let yourself fall short of what you want, and hold yourself accountable for those goals. Make yourself accountable for those goals and what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Definitely are the bigger things for me.
Yep. I think it's really important. Like, sometimes I struggle with this as well, but if you say something, do it.
Yeah.
If you're committing to something, commit to it.
Don't say you're going to be at the gym if you're not. Don't fucking say you're going to hold a diet if you're not, you know?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, it's us against us, but at the same time, our decisions are impacting the people in our life and our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So if at work, you're not true to your word, people aren't going to trust you. People aren't going to want to work with you or give you opportunities because you failed them in the past. So these actions really impact other people. So if you live with someone and they know you're trying to accomplish a goal or set a goal, and you're falling short of it and you're not letting it, you're not only hurting yourself and your future, you're hurting them and their relationship with you as well.
Well, yeah. Have them hold you accountable. You know, have people who are close to you in life hold you accountable for what you do, what you say, and like how you act. And that will go a long way in terms of building yourself up as a person and becoming the person you want to be.
Yeah. No, I definitely believe in like accountability partners and having someone to keep you in check. And even if you're not working on the same things, like if you can just find a time with like a buddy or something to like have like a weekly to monthly call, to check in on like what you're doing and how you are to your progress, that's gonna be so much more important because especially starting out, it's so difficult to like hold yourself accountable. All right, so what does discipline mean to you? What does it mean to become a disciplined person?
Discipline means working when you don't have the motivation and putting in that effort, that 200% when you don't want to and when it feels hard. Just so like, to me, it's like you either do the hard stuff now and make it easy later, or you make it easy now and do the hard stuff later. And discipline to me is making that smart choice of doing that hard stuff now and doing the easy stuff later, or some balance between that.
Yeah.
Favoring the hard stuff.
So why is doing difficult things and hard things the way to become successful and reach your goals in this life?
Because at the end of the day, life isn't easy. And to be the best, like, you need to do more than other people are doing. And I think at the end of the day, what people don't realize is, like, you will be above people if you work harder than them and put in more effort. Because, like, it's a hard realization, but people nowadays are fucking lazy and don't want to put in that effort, don't want to put in that hard work. So if you work harder than them, you will be working harder than 99% of people. And you will succeed over 99% of people. That's the way I see it.
And in a sense, how I see it is like, now more than ever, it's easier for us to become successful.
Oh, for sure.
We have the internet, of course. Like, think about business owners in the past. No internet. Imagine running a business with no internet today. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes, everything in person, newspaper articles, TV.
Taxes, wow.
All of that. So first of all, the internet has allowed us, to become influencers, YouTubers, marketers. There's a lot of opportunity online. But at the same time, it's like, if a lot of people are lazy and not putting in that much effort, if you're the person who's going to put in effort, think about how much better you're going to be than the people surrounding you. Think about, like, how you can just accomplish your goals by just putting in more effort than people.
No, yeah, we live in, like, a fucking lazy time, lazy generation. So that effort, that discipline, doing the hard things when they're hard and not when they're easy is what's going to determine success between people. And that's what's going to determine the successful from the non-successful at the end of the day.
Yeah, so I have a quick question for you about discipline.
That's good.
So a lot of people with self-discipline, they believe it's about just showing up and getting there. Do you think that if someone just shows up to what they need to be doing, and not necessarily gives full effort or goes as hard as they can, are they still going to see the same results if they still are showing up consistently every single day?
Showing up doesn't mean shit, bro. You need to show up and put in the work. It's not like you can't show up half-assed and expect results for anything. At the end of the day, you need to show up and do, like, good work.
Yeah.
That's what discipline is. It's not just showing up, but it's doing the hard things when you don't want to and doing good work at those hard things.
Yeah. And one thing my uncle in the Border Patrol said, he's like, he's a leader as well, but he says, um, not everyone can have like an A plus day every day.
Yeah.
That's just not gonna happen. But he's like, if you're gonna have a C plus day, you better make that the best C plus day you've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's true because we have things going on in our life. We're human. There's obstacles. There's challenges. You're not gonna be at your absolute best every single day, but work with what you can do.
You need to work to be not at your best, at your peak, but at 100% of what you can be.
On
Not
that
like
day, yeah.
everyone's got different levels of where they can be, but it's not about being at like being at that level, at that number, but it's about being at that percentage of that number. You know, like 100% of 80 is better than 80% of 100. You know, it's about how much you apply rather than how much you do. Everyone's different. Like, we all can't psychologically be perfect, but there is that perfect male, that like, or perfect like person that we all think of, where like attention's on point, focus is on point, like all that's on point.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of your most ideal perfect person, what are like some of the qualities they have? What are they doing on a daily basis?
For me, focused, determined. Wait, what was the question?
All right, so you said you have this ideal version of a human, whether it's like a male or a female.
Yeah.
But like you said, we kind of all have it. So what are some of the qualities or things that these people are doing?
I think like for the perfect like person, at least like as I think of like a person being determined, working hard, effortless, balanced. I said determined, but like motivated, putting in the work. Like,
Okay.
I think discipline at the end of the day is a bigger factor than anyone will ever think about. Like, I think discipline is probably the biggest things in the world. And like, that is what separates billionaires from millionaires, and fucking billionaires from people who don't even make like 10K, you know?
Yeah. No, I think discipline is really when you start to control your life. I don't know if you know Jocko Willnick's.
Mm-hmm.
He talks.
I think I've heard of him.
He's a retired Navy SEAL guy. He does a lot of motivational content. He has a podcast. And what he says is discipline is freedom. So discipline sets you free.
Yeah.
A lot of people look for freedom in their life or ways to get away, whether it's like quitting their job, getting out of relationships. They're looking for this freedom. But if you can get yourself to show up every single day and make it a habit and you don't even have to think about it, you're free because you take control of your life.
For sure. No, like having control over everything, having like that discipline to control everything is ultimately like what defines the difference in people.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And like that is what creates one guy from another, is that discipline to get up, do things, and put in that effort and work.
Put in
like
that effort every single day.
Yeah, for sure. No, that like separates not just guys but girls like an insane amount. Like a girl that's willing to put in the work, like you would look at them and know this girl is more hardworking, this girl is more effort, puts in more effort. And same with guys, you'll be like, wow, this guy puts in a lot more effort. You can tell just not by like their body in the gym, but like even their like mindset, their discipline,
the way they like
actions.
The way they present themselves as well.
Oh, for sure.
Usually when you have like a super, I mean, there's really two ways with this, but confidence, you can have that kind of like fake kind of like confidence coming from your ego.
You can have that frat boy confidence.
Yeah. But also confidence, in my opinion, is built through hard work and like effort.
Effort and discipline, for sure. No, there's difference between the hard work that's earned and the hard work that's given. And that goes for many things, the ego that's earned and the ego that's given.
Okay, so what is the hard work earned?
Like ego, discipline, what are we talking about?
Like when you say some people earn hard work, what do you mean by that?
I'm a bit too fucked up to know. I think some people like earn their privilege to say they're hardworking, and some people are handed that egotistical, yeah, I'm hardworking. Some people are given the easy route to success, and they can say, yeah, I'm hardworking. Yeah, I did X, Y, Z to make it here. But at the end of the day, X, Y, Z is not shit compared to what EBC is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, some people have to put in more
Yeah.
work and more effort. And some people have to act, like, genuinely earn their spot. Or some people are just giving it and pretend like they earned it.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably what
I can see that for sure. And, you know, one thing that's very common about people who are successful is in their lives they had some major life setback, whether that be coming from like poverty, death in the family. There was something in their experience that like shaped who they were in a bit. So
I would definitely agree. I think that like missing piece creates a desire and a devour that a lot of people aren't gifted enough to have. I think that's like something like if you have that drive and devour, that discipline, like that is something that not a lot of people have, and you are blessed to have that because at the end of the day, if you follow that, you will become anything you want to be.
yeah. I was at the play tonight at Amherst High School. It was called Life Sucks. So I was like, all right, this is an interesting title. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a watch.
That's why you went the title.
No, part of it. I also had some friends in it, but it was a very interesting plot. But some of the main themes that I saw is these people were talking about their life sucking or life in general sucking. And what I noticed a common theme was, each of these people had some sort of pain point or something missing in their life or something that wasn't going their way. And it seemed like a lot of the characters in the play, they took the easy way out. They took the path of least resistance where, you know, they just look for something external to solve their problem.
Yeah.
So one person in it, like, they weren't feeling whole, they weren't feeling complete, so they went out and got super educated and got a lot of degrees and, like, you know, did a lot of things. One person was traveling, but they weren't feeling, like, satisfied. So all these people were looking for things on the outside, external factors to solve what was going on the inside. And they were saying, I'm not happy, I'm not joyful, but really true happiness and joy comes from in here. Like, regardless of your situation, some more than other, it's like, if you have a bad situation, I really cannot blame you whatsoever for not being happy or joyful. But if you have decent circumstances, your happiness and joy is determined by you and only you alone.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think at the end of the day, how you feel is determined by how you want to feel and how you desire to feel. If you want to be depressed, I think like you can genuinely, between the placebo effect and like the way our human brain works, you can make yourself feel depressed. But if you want to be happy and like be living life, you can do that and you can feel that way. And like at the end of the day, there are some factors that will limit you, but like as long as you're outside those factors, you're fucking chilling. And those factors are not limiting you at all.
Yeah.
Like shit will limit you to extent, but like at the end of the day, that extent is not enough to fuck you over as long as you're determined enough.
Another thing my uncle in the Border Patrol said is, he said a couple things, but one of them was you just have to keep a positive mindset no matter what you're facing or what you're going into. For you, do you have a positive mindset, and has it helped you in your pursuit of the gym goals or really whatever else you're facing?
I believe mindset is one of the biggest things. I've always been a believer of like people saying like the 3 people you surround yourself with are the like 3, like you are going to be a combination of those 3 people. And I always believe that, and I still believe that. Like I think the 3 people who are around you and are who you're going to become. I think at the end of the day, the mindset and the way your nerves connect to other people's and are fucking, like, I mean, you were at the party, like, people's brains connect to each other. And I think the way those, like, people's brains interact and connect with each other, it's just different than, like, it's just, like, we don't see this outside of this in nature. Like,
It's
we
the
see
human connection.
We see this with, like, roots. Like, the way roots, like, will entangle in each other is amazing and shit like that. Like, it's like, yeah.
But really, doesn't every single animal have this connection? And we're, like, not the same because If you think
Yeah.
about it,
No,
like echolocation, they're constantly
there
communicating.
is some
Squirrels. I think most, if not all, animals communicate with themselves either through noises or mental connection.
Oh, for sure.
So
There is some fucking root in every brain of an animal or of a human that will connect to another animal or human, or it doesn't fucking matter. That is similar. Like, it doesn't matter. There's a root here that will connect with here and like with fucking anyone's if we have the same view at anything.
one piece of evidence that like I've seen before, which I think is really cool and really weird, is I'll give you an example. All right, so I had a video production class the other day, and I come in singing this song, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka. You know that song?
Yep.
Hooked on a feeling, bam, 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 bam. I'm high on believing, bam, 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 that I'm in love with you. So I was singing that song, coming in, and Danny goes, "No fucking way! I was just singing that song 20 seconds ago."
Valid or coming?
Valid. And I wasn't in the classroom 20 seconds ago.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So that happened to me. Also, there's another story. This kid Kyle. I thought of this like in our gym class. And I was just like, "Yo, Kyle, remember that time in rec basketball where you scored on our own basket?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I do remember that. I was like just thinking about that the other day." During the pandemic, I wasn't really hanging out with people, so I kind of started like focusing more on myself. So I feel like sometimes, like, because I spent like this time like working on myself and stuff, like I sometimes feel like I know more about. I'm not trying to like compare myself or anything, but sometimes I feel like I know more about myself than like other people.
Others would. Yeah, no, self-exploration is definitely a thing. And a lot of people haven't given themselves the time, the effort, and like the patience to like explore themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, and like me too, I'm guilty of this. I don't know truly who I am and like what my goals are, what I want to do in life at the end of the day. And it's something I will at some point need to hit a realization and be like, I need to find myself, find what I want, find what my goals are. It's like I guess at the end of the day, life's all about figuring out who you are and who you want to be at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then like surrounding yourself by people who want to be in your bubble at the end of the day, because there are gonna be a bunch of different bubbles, and only so many people are gonna want to end up in your bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
and there's only so many people you're gonna want let into your bubble.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, like, bubbles are different. Like, some people may want to be like millionaires. We're gonna have fucking Lamborghinis. All be successful, and they'll have their little bubble. And like, as hard as it may be to like come to a realization, that's not what some people want. Some people are just like want different goals. It's like, how do you not want to be a millionaire? How do you not want to be a billionaire and be rich and successful? But like at the end of the day, some people do not want that. Absolutely. So that's like, and like that I'd say it goes like for the opposite too. People just have different goals and different motivations, different disciplines, and different efforts. And at the end of the day, everyone's gonna fight for themselves.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. That no two people, regardless if you want to be like financially independent or whatever your goals really are,
or like just be a fuckboy.
Like, we all have different variations of our goals, and that's true. And at the same time, it's like I do have respect for people who don't necessarily want to follow like the social norms or like what is like projected as like a good thing, because there's like the image or like view that success in life is like financial, having the nice house, having the nice car.
I mean, I
nice
think
family.
That comes back to like the American dream, which is being able to support your family, being rich and successful, having your name known, and having your family name known, as well as like being sexually and romantically happy. Like that is the American dream, and like that kind of defines what like a lot of people view as success. But like that's the issue. Everyone needs to define success to their own. So.
I mean, really, above all, like what I believe is, it's not really about defining what success is. Success will come if you put in the work, like we said, the discipline and the effort. It's really about finding your purpose, finding the reason why you're here in all of this mess, in this world, in this simulation or whatever it is. And finding the reason or like what you want to do with your life? Or
I think for everyone that's different, but I think for some people it's about the pursuit of happiness, and for some people who believe in a God, like, good for them. But like, everyone's got a different reason why they're working to be what they're working to be, and I mean, to some people it's just because like we feel the way we are, you know, we have feelings, we're human, and to some people it's like so much bigger than that, you know.
yeah. So sometimes our feelings get in the way of our goals and kind of seeing clearly in our life. If you're overcome with a lot of like stress or negative emotions, you're not going to be able to think as clearly, and that might hurt you because you might not have that reminder um, that there's something better that you're working towards. It's not just suffering and sucking for no end. You know, there's a point to what you're doing.
Definitely.
And there's a reason.
A point, a reason. Yeah.
For sure.
Couldn't have said it better. Nah, everything in life has a purpose. Every goal, every motivation, every inspiration has a purpose, and it's just different for everyone. Everything's different for everyone. At the end of the day, motivations, disciplines, goals, everything's gonna be different. Yeah. Everything. I guess that's why they say you are unique. You know, no matter what, you are unique, and everyone's gonna have those different like literally like points on the fucking grid where they stand.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one on Earth with the same exact genetic and DNA makeup as you. There's no one on the Earth that shares the same exact thoughts as you.
I feel like that DNA goes deeper than like the physical body, goes into like the brain and how that functions. No one's gonna think the same way you think. You're at least gonna have one few 100,000, few billion views of your own that like you don't share with few 100,000 people. Like, it might take me a few million people to see the same way I see on some things, and that's just how life is. We're all made to be unique and to have our own goals. Yeah, don't discredit yourself in any way. That's also a big thing. Discreditment is a big issue, and like, as long as you're moving in the right direction, there's no reason you should get discreditment. If you're moving in the right direction, you should get a shit ton of credit.
Yeah.
You know?
And it goes back to that
even
thing.
Even if you're not moving fast, if you're just moving all in the right direction, you deserve all the credit.
Yeah.
As long as you're not moving the right way, there's no reason you should be getting discredit.
100%. And it's also, it goes back to that thing, like, you're not determined by your past or what you've done in the past. You're determined by your now and what you're doing in the moment.
For sure. I mean, I would argue a bit like your past set a trend for your current self, but your current self can redefine what that trend was.
I like that. So your past experiences kind of develop a pathway or a trend in your life.
Yeah, but there's nothing stopping you from fucking grabbing the steering wheel and turning a different direction. Like, the past is definitely like, I don't think it's unfair to judge someone by their past, but like, at the end of the day, like, I was a different person in middle school and elementary school. It's like
100%.
You can look at their path, but you have to look at where they are now at the end of the day and say, wow, this person fucking moved. And like, a path is like, it's called a path for a reason. It's called a path not because like it's the end point, but because it goes to the end point. It's not about like
it goes somewhere. It goes up that mountain. It goes up that hill.
Path. It's not about being at the end point. It's about going around the twists and turns, going in that straight away for a little bit,
stepping over those logs, which are your obstacles in your life.
Yeah, and then at the end, reaching the end point.
Them in the best possible way. In your lifetime, you will face millions of decisions. The quality of your decisions will determine the quality of your life.
Definitely.
Over the course of my
quality
lifetime,
of your decisions.
The most valuable
Definitely.
things I've learned were the results of mistakes I reflected on to help form principles so I wouldn't make the same mistakes again.
Okay, so that's very important. So not only making mistakes, but reflecting on them and finding the lesson in every mistake. That's super important.
We've discussed how important it is to reflect carefully after experiencing pain. When I did this, I was usually able to discover principles that would prevent me from repeating the same mistakes in the future. And I could see that being successful simply consisted of 5 steps.
5 steps.
Step 1 is to know your goals and run after them.
All right, so set your goals. Make sure you know what you're going after.
And fucking conquer those. Yeah.
What is best for you depends on your nature. So
I
you
feel like
need
this
to
is kind of
really
what we talked about.
understand yourself and know
The
what you
goals
want
and
to achieve
discipline
in
of life.
The next thing is, on your path to your goals, you're gonna encounter problems, and that's part of the success principles.
your goals. These problems are typically painful. If handled badly, some of them can lead to your ruin. But to evolve, you need to identify those problems and not tolerate them.
All right, so you need to find the
Step one is to
problems and diagnose
those
them.
problems to get at their root causes. Don't jump too quickly to solutions. Take a step back and reflect in order to really distinguish the symptoms from the disease.
Okay, so it's really important in anything you do in your life to find the root cause of your issue.
Definitely.
Now, I think problems are like a result. You know, you have to see what the input is to get the output. So you're really looking for the
Even if
input.
it's to cause a problem, like to cause for a solution, there's an equation for a solution. There's an equation for a problem. You know.
Yeah, it's just like math class, you know?
And a plan to eliminate the problems. This is where you will determine what you need to do to get around them.
Okay, so make a
Step
plan.
5 is to execute those decisions.
And actually do that.
Pushing
Take the
yourself
action.
to do what's
According to this very successful man, it's really fairly simple. It's not going to be easy, but it's simple when you break it down. It's, set your goals. Get on the path, start working towards it. Take the action. And when you set these goals and you start taking the action,
that's when results come in.
yeah.
Definitely.
But also on this way, you're going to find a lot of problems. You're going to find things that make you feel painful or that hurt you.
Those are the little fucking spikes in the road that, they try and throw you off, and at the end of the day, those, little things, those are, what you're meant to overcome. Those are, I believe they're fucking
They're gifts.
Yeah, no, they are gifts, because, if you can't learn to overcome those distractions, you're not going to be, those distractions to your goals, you're not going to hit your goals. And, at the end of the day, those distractions look different for everyone.
Yeah.
For someone who wants success, might be fucking girls trying to get with them. And it's this is a waste of my time. For someone, the opposite, it could be, people trying to make, it doesn't matter what it is, bro. Anything that, makes you take the slightest detour on the way to your goals is, a distraction. At the end of the day, some distractions are worth it. Some distractions will come at a cost. And, sometimes that cost is okay. But also, sometimes that cost will fuck you up. Sometimes you can't be taking those costs. Sometimes you gotta be focused on yourself and your goals.
Yeah. That was very well said. I think it's great to realize what your distractions are, what your problems are. And like you were saying, these are meant for us. They're sent down for us to solve.
Definitely.
I want you to imagine us as well.
It's so many roadblocks. It's like traffic cones on the road that mean you can't be in half of this lane.
Yeah,
It's you gotta get a fucking around them at the end of the day. You can wait for a bunch of other cars to go, or you can prioritize yourself and fucking go past those cones.
Yeah. So I want us and other people who are watching this to envision yourself where you've made it. Your vision of being your successful person, right? Whatever that is, financially, you have the dream car, the dream house, the dream job. You're owner of a company. Maybe you have a lot of employees, or whatever really your goal is. I want you to imagine yourself there, and then I want you to imagine yourself not fully developed as a person in that role. So you got to where you wanted to do, and what you wanted to do.
But you're not the person.
But you're not the person that you thought would come along with that.
Mm-hmm.
You may have the things, but you're not that entire person.
Damn, that fucking hits.
So what would it be like if you got to where you want, whether it's the career or the job or the family, but you weren't the best version that you could be in that situation? Think about if you were the best version of yourself in that situation, how much better it would be than if you were lower than your capabilities. You may still enjoy your new environment or what's happening, but if you are not your fullest self in that experience, you're not living it to the fullest amount.
Definitely. It's all about effort and how much you put in. You put in 100%, you get 100% of the results back, and vice versa. I don't believe anyone can put in 100%. I believe someone can put in 95%, maybe. Very, very locked in, mentally disciplined individual could put in 95%. But, at the end of the day, it's all about how much you put in and how much you expect back, and what that ratio comes out to. And like I think it would pay you off if you're not getting the results you feel like you should be. It's probably because you aren't putting in the work you should be.
Yeah, and also what I was talking about also goes back to these 5 key principles for success, or the step process, is when you're in this journey, right? You are developed by your ways to address and solve your problems. Now, if you're reaching your goals, like the first step, you're pursuing your goals, the problems are going to come in. And while you may overcome some of them may still be there. And they may still latch on to you. And you may never address those problems. That's what I'm kind of talking about. So, during this step process of developing yourself and developing your vision, you're overcoming things. You're and you're becoming a stronger person. But if you let things sit there and you don't overcome them, you're going to be that less capable person in that highly successful position like we were talking about earlier.
It's all about positioning, effort, and skill, man.
And timing. You have to be patient 100%.
Timing definitely plays a role, but like at the end of the day, I feel like timing can be used as an excuse. Timing wasn't right, fucking bad timing, like I need to wait, like it's not even on the right time scale. Nah, time can be an excuse. Like, but I guess at the end of the day, anything can be an excuse if like you let it be an excuse.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess that is fair.
The world is full of excuses, but timing also with patience. It's like, it's not necessarily about starting something or like, oh, it's the right time. It's like the work that I'm putting in is going to pay off down the line.
Yeah.
I may not know when this will be, and if it doesn't happen in a year, I shouldn't just give up and stop. I should be patient and see where it will take me. Because if you know you're doing the right things, but you're not exactly where you want to be, maybe it's time to adjust, but maybe it's just time to keep going.
It's also like there are 2 options, bro. Like if you're doing that, it could be a you issue, but it also could be not be. And like that's kind of like, if you're doing all that, you should be able to figure out what it is and fix that. Because oftentimes, like, if you're really that disciplined, if you're that motivated, if you're putting in that much work, you should be able to figure out if it's a you issue, if it's a them issue. And you know what? Whichever it is, it's fixable.
Yeah, because when you're in that disciplined state and when you're disciplined and you're trying to work towards something, you're so much more self-aware than like your average person.
Definitely.
Whether it's like you're trying to change your habits or you're trying to like work harder or something, you're thinking about your actions and what you are more than someone who's just like living their life with their job. So
that is, yeah.
What you were saying, like you should be able to figure out what is causing you. Well, part of that is because you know yourself better than the average person, most likely. So it might be easier to
like feel yourself and know yourself and understand yourself. And that's definitely a thing. Like people need to come to the understanding and realization of themselves. Not a lot of people are in touch with themselves.
And you want to know why I think people aren't in touch with themselves anymore, at least?
Why?
This.
It's the smartphone.
This. All right, think about the past generations. They had to bike. They had to call each other on like a landline,
If they could, bro.
They had to like send letters and shit. You know what I mean? Now what we have is endless entertainment on our phone 24/7.
And this contact, yeah.
And this is what distracts us from spending time alone. Because when we use our phone, we're on social media or we're doing something with friends, whether we're texting them, snapping them, whatever it be. We're not spending time alone with ourselves. When we spend time alone with ourselves, reflecting on who we are and what we're doing, that's when you get to know yourself. And you start to explore yourself.
It's about thinking of people as people and not people as things or people as animals. It's like people as people, That simple. People.
So it's like don't use people is kind of what you're trying to say.
Not exactly, but think of people as people. Like people have, I guess, like think of people as like living things with souls, just like yourself. Like they have the same. I guess like sometimes when I think of people, I'll be out of touch with reality and be like, that's a person. That's like a friend. That's this girl I want to hook up with. That's blank. But not like that's a person who feels and touches and all that and like has a mentality like me. Like it's kind of like the main character mentality. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like,
What do you mean by that?
or it's like you don't think about other people as like, you just think of them as being part of your life, but not you being part of their functioning life that like revolves around their head. Like, I mean, it's just like, I think at the end of the day, we're like all at the realization where like we're at a point at like the human species where like everyone kind of has different directions, and they're so vast and so bland because of where we're at technologically wise and fucking and human advancement, that like everyone's got such different ideas and goals and motivations, and like these things that they're so passionate about are so different, and that's why it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's,
We need to find a way to bring people together and like come together for some like common goals, whether it be like
For
climate
sure.
change or social justice, stuff like that.
don't get me wrong, I think our fucking society, our age, the people like in high school right now, you know, our group, I think they're doing that to an extent, but not to an extent where it's like, this is because I'm motivated for this, I'm disciplined for this, I care about this. It's more because like this as humans, we should be motivated for. And I think there's a definitely like value to individuality and like people doing starting actions and directions on their own.
Yeah, taking their own slice of the pie.
For
So to
sure.
say.
No, definitely, yeah. Cool.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about success and self-discipline, but part of self-discipline, what it does is it builds habits for you. And we always want to have good habits because habits are things that we automatically do.
I'd say habits also also build discipline.
Yeah.
Goes hand in hand.
Yeah, if you're sticking to something consistently and if you're making it into a habit, you're going to do it automatically. Like, you know, we don't think about brushing our teeth in the morning. Do you think about brushing your teeth in the morning, or you just do it?
It just fucking happens.
You just do it. You just do it because it's a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we develop and grow as people, we often pick up some bad habits, whether it be, you know, over drinking, substance abuse, watching Netflix. There's a lot of different things, but when we can start to reclaim our life and start building new habits, that's when the change is really going to come in your life. Why do you think so many of us are lazy nowadays? Why do you think we're having a weaker work ethic than we have in past generations? What do you think is the cause of that?
Because life for so many people is just like, I think like comfort builds laziness. When you don't have to work for something, when you're comfortable in your surroundings, you're not going to challenge yourself. When you're not challenging yourself, it's going to create a lazy person.
This is how I like to think about like comfort and getting uncomfortable and why it's beneficial. I think of like being comfortable, or what you're comfortable with is a bubble around you, right?
Yeah.
So you can run at the bubble, but you're gonna bounce back. You can run in any direction. You can't pop the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what you can do to get outside of the bubble or pop the bubble, or actually expand the bubble, really, it's really expanding the bubble, is doing something you've never done before, or doing something you don't like, or doing something that makes you uncomfortable. And when you keep expanding this thing, your life expands.
It's like a little pump into the bubble.
Yeah, it's like inflating it a little bit and a little bit. And really successful people, their bubble is out here.
Yeah, they've done so much and like gone through so much.
Yeah,
for sure.
So you kind of start here, and also this bubble is the amount of opportunity you have in your life.
That bubble.
And it's also, I think the bubble is representative of a bunch of things, because this small bubble is also a closed mind.
Mm-hmm.
Not being open to possibility. And then when I challenge myself, I get uncomfortable, my mind expands a little bit.
That bubble expands with it.
It's a little bit, yeah. So I like the bubble metaphor.
No, the bubble metaphor is definitely a good way of representing like how the humans work with comfort.
I don't know if you're familiar with David Goggins at all.
I think this is a David Goggins. No, it's not.
It's not. He has a book called Can't Hurt Me, but you know, his story is very inspirational. You know, he's a retired Navy SEAL guy, run over 100 ultra marathons, has had the pull-up record for a long time. So he's done a lot of stuff, but one thing he really talks about is it's so important to do something, whether it be small or whatever. Do something, one thing a day that makes you uncomfortable. One thing that gets you outside that comfort zone. And that's really going to build you.
Definitely.
And his thing is really like scheduling in this time for discomfort, because I believe if you don't schedule something in, it's not going to get done.
Yeah. I mean, I think to the wrong person with not enough discipline, if you schedule something, it won't get done. I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people require a lot more of like, I guess like schedule and like routine in their life to get things done. And I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I think it's like a weak trait if you're not able to switch something up and get something else done sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good to have like an adaptive and changing, schedule and calendar.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't always want to be doing the same things, but also if you're working towards something, you're going to have to do a lot of the same thing in order to make progress and stuff. But I think getting uncomfortable, like, if all of you guys listening to this were to, whether you watch this interview now or later, like, at some point, get out a piece of lined paper. You got a piece of lined paper? Let's do this now.
A line paper? I'll get a sheet of
For you guys who are watching or listening to the podcast, or watching it, I want you to get out a sheet of lined paper, right? And now, me and Ben, what we're gonna do is we're gonna brainstorm some things that make us uncomfortable, or we think that are new experiences. And I think you should do the same exact thing, because it starts. If you want to start getting outside of your comfort zone, it first starts with addressing what makes you uncomfortable.
Definitely.
So we might get a little vulnerable here, Ben. So
shit.
Let's title it "Getting Uncomfortable." Okay. So is there an area in your life that maybe you're not doing well in, or is there something you've always been resisting that makes you uncomfortable?
The cold.
The cold?
The cold.
Okay. So would that be? Let's say okay. Let's do this. All right, we can do this sometime.
We're not doing physical discomfort. Wait.
It's both. Physical
oh yeah,
mental.
so the cold.
Okay, so how about? Do you want to commit to this right now? How about during a winter day when it's snowing, let's go swimming.
Swimming? Fuck it. Wait, I mean fuck.
Like well, we won't go long. Okay.
That's not bad.
All right, swimming in the winter. Okay, that's good. All right, so guys, as you're going along with us, start making your list of things that make you uncomfortable. Really deep dive into this. Think about new experiences or maybe things that have held you back. Like, for example, me, one thing that makes me uncomfortable is, like, cold calling businesses. So basically that's, like, calling a business, pitching them an idea or something, and seeing what they say. And the reason that makes me uncomfortable is because for a long time, and I still struggle with today, like, I've had, like, a fear of, like, of rejection, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fear of rejection is not helpful in anything you do. Because if you want to be, like, successful or you want to accomplish goals, you have to be bold, and a part of that is not really caring about what other people think or overcoming the like obstacles and mistakes. So I'll add that to my list.
Cold calling businesses.
Yeah. So I guess they're both cold.
They both are cold. I think a lot of people don't like cold.
Yeah.
Respect it.
No, that's a good one. So if you guys want to get uncomfortable, go do something out in the cold this winter.
Yeah, go on a bike ride. Little run. Play some sports.
Yep.
Fucking go sledding. I don't know.
Maybe take an ice bath. Actually, that's a good one. Take an ice bath, guys. Or
in the winter will be even better.
Or we were talking about habits earlier. One good habit would be taking a cold shower every day.
It's a hard one, but yeah.
It's a difficult one, but
definitely requires a lot of discipline and
the thing about the cold shower is like it's something that gets you right off the bat. Right when you're starting your day, it's something that gets you. You're not going to enjoy it. Just do it for like 2 minutes. Go in your coldest setting in your shower and just get in there for 2 minutes. It's going to be really difficult at first, but eventually you're going to start building that cold tolerance.
Yeah. And this is like, we were talking about this earlier. I'm not sure if it's in the podcast. Probably not, but like, that builds into habits, Becomes a habit to take that cold shower. Once it's a habit, it becomes easier and you have the discipline to do it every day.
No, that's really important. Thing about habits is like it becomes automatic. You want as many automatic things in your life as possible, so you don't have to spend time thinking or debating. Because if you're always warring with yourself, should I do this thing? Should I not do this thing? Oh, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. This back and forth like this, it takes a lot of energy out of you.
Oh, definitely.
So when you actually decide to do it, you're going to be more emotionally drained because you were weighing that decision.
You just gotta either say fuck it. I mean, you gotta say fuck it and do it at the end of the day. Yeah. Especially if it's one of those things
But also realize, like, ask yourself, is this something that's beneficial to me? Is this what I need to be doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, then you can let it go, and you don't necessarily have to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I'm thinking for those good things, for the, like, for the positive, healthy
Yeah,
things.
for example, like, you know, eating healthy or working out.
Those are ones you gotta say fucking and do it. But,
Yeah.
like, they're, like, because those are gonna impact you in a positive way at the end of the day. But, like, some other things, not so much, you know? That's okay. At the end of the day, you can be whatever person you're trying to be and you want to be. That doesn't mean you're gonna be happy with that person.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you can meet your goals and still be unhappy. Like, I bet some of the, like, some people who have life made, like, say Elon Musk, man's rich as shit, has a bunch of money, he's not in bad shape, he's healthy, he works out, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, like, at the end of the day, do you think he's perfectly happy? No. And, like, that's kind of, like,
Do you think anyone can be perfectly happy?
No, but I think when you accept yourself, I think happiness is like an internal trait that is like you reflecting on you. And when you accept yourself and, like, I guess allow yourself to be who you are, and allow yourself some fucking leeway.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot easier to be happy.
Yeah, because you have a lot of successful people. Some of the richest people in the world are some of the most miserable people in the world.
Definitely.
So it's like, if you're just doing something for the wrong reason. So, for example, if you're trying to become financially independent or successful for the wrong reason, whether it be like, I want to prove other people wrong, I want to show people I can do this, having the wrong why can actually hurt you in the long run. Because when you end up reaching that goal and you get there, it's not as satisfying as you once believed. You know? Success is like, it's something we all look for, and we think, oh, that's going to be the pinnacle. I'm going to be the happiest in my life. But it's really not like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about, you know, you have to be yourself on the journey. And you really have to know yourself and start to love yourself. Accept yourself, exactly.
Love yourself, accept yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they definitely play hand in hand. And that's like, that is the big thing, because at the end of the day, your self-worth is determined by how you feel about yourself. That's self-acceptance. And, like, it's so important, because to be doing good things, you need to feel good about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, at the end of the day, you can desire change. Like, if you're a fat, miserable fuck, you don't have to be happy with your body. You don't have to accept it. And, like, you can want to change it. Well, I mean, I guess I put that wrong. You don't have to be happy with it. You can want to change it. You can desire to change it.
Yeah.
And be motivated to change it. But you still need to accept, this is who I am, but this is, like, not who I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, there's still shit you need to accept. Like, even, like, maybe that's a responsibility thing as well. Accepting, this is who I am, even if this is, like, not a good thing.
Yeah.
And, like, that way you can see it and work from there. Work on yourself to change that.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of hand in hand with the terms of, like, accepting your reality. You know, not living in this, like, fake fantasy, the story in your mind, but it's really, like, finding what reality is, accepting it, and trying to enhance reality or make it better. And I think earlier in the podcast, we all have our own unique and different goals. Well, some may be similar to others. Sometimes a friendship may not help you because you have different goals. You know?
Definitely. No, yeah, like, if someone's... if two people are shooting in different directions, and they're both giving all their effort, like, it could clash, but they also... I mean, it's about finding that balance. It also could provide some benefit, you know?
Yeah. Because when I see it,
hard
like, I'll do another little diagram. So you have two people, right? And if they're going towards the same goal, it's like, all right, I'm going to be climbing this step. This person's going to be climbing this step. He's going to help me up on the next step. I'm going to help him up on the next step, right? And now if you're the same friendships and you're on different paths, it's like, you know, you're climbing separately.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, you know what I mean? You're climbing separately. You're not being able to help each other or give each other feedback.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a difference, though, between climbing with someone and just someone that's also climbing. Like, you can have friends that are, you know, also doing their thing, and, like, you don't need to climb with them, but, like, as long as they still provide you some, like, motivation,
Yeah.
they holler across all their fucking steps, like, good work, you know? It's like, they're still providing you with benefit, and what distraction are they causing,
Yeah.
It's about, the ratio.
It's been a really great podcast, Ben. We've talked a lot about motivation, energy, focus, self-discipline, a lot of those things. So I have a couple of final questions for you.
Sure.
All right. So if you were to become a father today, what are the 3 lessons you would instill to your kid at a young and early age in order for them to have the best life that you see for them?
I mean, I guess it starts with how I define best life, which would be like happiness. So I'd say you said 3 lessons?
Yeah.
I'd say work ethic and discipline would be one of them. Work hard and do the hard work when it's hard. Definitely a big thing. And like just getting shit done when you don't want to. It's definitely a big thing. I'd say be happy and live life would be another lesson I'd care a lot about, because if you're not like happy and living life, it doesn't matter what the outcome is.
Yeah.
My opinion. Like, there are gonna be hard times where you're not happy, and that's one thing. But if you're overall unhappy for an
entire
too long,
lifetime.
yeah, or like just too long of a period, like, then that's not. It needs to be like 80-20, 70-30 type of like
ratio.
Happiness to like, damn, this sucks. But it's also like happiness doesn't like mean comfort. Happiness doesn't mean not having to go to the gym, and like you need to be happy doing the hard things as well.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably the 3rd lesson, which is like do the hard things and like be happy doing them. Don't pity yourself because you're doing these hard things. Don't let that control you. Don't let that control you.
Awesome. Well, I think those would be some good lessons for your son or daughter. And hopefully you do instill them in your family one day.
Only a son.
Only
Yeah.
a son.
Daughter's getting aborted.
Cutting that one out.
Too political for the podcast. We could probably keep that one in. It's not that political. Yo,
Alright.
Jeez, bro, you good?
Yeah.
Take a yo, hit mine.
Alright, so final question for you, Ben. We talked about the metaverse and kind of the future. What do you think is the future of technology and our role in that?
I mean, we just talked about this. I think with the metaverse and everything, it's going to be a point where technology consumes us and it becomes more important to us than our reality on life, which is a scary thought, but at the end of the day, that is the reality. That's the way it's going, and like, there's no point bitching about like something you don't have control of. You kind of just have to start adapting to it.
Awesome. All right, Ben. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Sure thing.
It was a great conversation. We'll hit it. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Ben Haupt. I had a really great time talking about self-discipline, motivation, and kind of the future of humanity in general. Now, is there any way we can support you for the viewers listening?
Maybe just like support others and be positive towards others, motivate others. I think at the end of the day, that's how you can support anyone, not just like me in specific. So just motivate others, do the hard things, and go in a good direction.
All right, sick.